Alrighty, well, Big, it's not looking particularly great for them, I don't think, Pilly. If we go back and look at some of the history between Liquid and Big in recent times, it has been a particularly difficult map for them.
Definitely has been, and picking Dust2 into a team like Liquid, a map that they've taken off the likes of Astralis in the past and that they have performed pretty well on, and sometimes even picking some of their series is going to be a difficult prospect. This long control coming out here for Liquid, and they're hitting the shots as well.
Yeah, I mean, straight out the gates, Team Liquid, they do not give a damn about what Big is throwing at them. They're certainly throwing a lot back at Big. That's 3 players down already, and I mean, if you're going to start the pistol round off in any fashion at all, this is certainly the way that you want to be kicking off your first best of 3. And by the way, the best of 3 that's going to qualify you through to Qudos Bank Arena.
100%. Nex is the only man left alive, and he's hitting a couple shots here and there, but he will be smoked off, and he is getting backstabbed from middle. So it feels like only a matter of time.
Yeah, Naf and Twist, though, into the 2v1. So, I mean, Nex has given himself a little bit more of a chance than you probably would have given him. There's another kill onto Naf, and, well, a good trade out from Twist. Perhaps you could argue a little bit closer than Liquid would have liked, but realistically speaking, that entire round was fully within their control.
100%. Once they got those clean entries out on long, they didn't even necessarily need to even force things up that long area towards the A bomb site. They could have even slowed things down. It was basically up to them to dictate how they wanted to play the rest of that round, and regardless of it coming down to the one-on-one, they do get it done in the end. So good start for Liquid on the T side. That's going to get their money rolling nice and early, whereas Big, particularly on the CT side of Dust2, it's going to take them a while to get things rolling. In particular, you know, the old iterations of Big lean pretty heavily on that double orb setup. Obviously, with the way that CT side Dust2 functions at the moment, you can sort of need utility to take that long control and stuff like that. If you do go into the next round having saved and you have only the rifles and the utility, then potentially they're going to have to go for something a little bit more aggressive than they may like.
A pretty interesting stack in middle here from Big. They're going to flash themselves out, but Nitro, well, the flash didn't even connect on him, and he certainly has connected onto Tabson's hand. All of Big are going to be falling to bits here by the looks of things, and that certainly is another clean win for Team Liquid on the anti-eco, which kind of continues their streak, actually, from when we were looking at their game on the B stream earlier, Pilly, going up against Boot. I mean, admittedly, again, not the strongest of opponents, but I thought the anti-ecos in particular were very, very clean from Liquid.
And yeah, they're showing it again. They're really getting their money off to the right sort of start, 2K across most of their players. Obviously, Nitro has to get some guns into this round. Now he has bought up, so pretty good money across the rest of them. Now it's Big's opportunity to get back into the half. Now I'm going to go for that long control and try to contest it. Liquid's not going to go for that right at the start, so that's a small win for Big already. They have managed to grab that long control. And Liquid, they're just slowing things down, going to be grabbing that middle control and potentially heading up catwalk now.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the round where Liquid is actually going to have a reasonable resistance, so they do have to just figure things out a little bit more than, I guess, necessarily rushing long. Big for their own right, just the one player on the B bomb site right now, so a lot of that long control. And I guess Team Liquid at the moment are working around it fairly well. Tamsin does just have the AUG, and AUG there would have been fantastic. He probably finds himself a pick, but not able to do it with the AUG.
But off the back of the pistol loss, they can't really afford it, you know, unless he's going to go for a glass cannon or something like that. They never really would have had the money for that. And now after taking this cat control, they double smoke off long, and they isolate GodB in the pit here.
He might be able to make something of it, though, as there's another player pushing through the smoke. It was Nex, who actually did get the frag onto Naf, but when all's said and done, Liquid have fantastic entries onto this A bomb site. Things are going swimmingly indeed for that T side. Legia and Tizian, I mean, unfortunately into a 2v4. I think at this case, best case scenario really is to save.
100%. If they can get any damage done as well to keep Liquid's economy in check as much as possible, that will also help them out, because if Liquid continue getting these clean gun rounds, you're going to be facing Liquid on guns for the rest of the half. You're never going to have an opportunity to keep their economy honest or reset them in any way. Pretty clean from Liquid. Very clinical play so far. Didn't try to force that long control whatsoever. Just let Big have it. Went back to the catwalk. Then later in the round, just a pre-planned little execution there. Allows them to get that 2-for-1, and they resolve the round from there. It's exactly what you'd expect from Liquid.
Tizian going to have trouble saving this remaining AUG as well. So many Liquid players headed in his direction. That's a nice 3-0 start for Team Liquid, and I think that really starts to put a lot more pressure on to Big, right? Because going into this matchup, of course, you're going up against the best team at this tournament, and to do I guess, to an extent, what Boot was able to do, and in a way, be able to take a fairly close map against Team Liquid. You're going to need to start off well, and so far, in this matchup, Big hasn't started well. Historically speaking, against Team Liquid, the matchup hasn't favored them. And Dust2 has been a difficult map, actually, for Big really to make work. So it's all sort of falling apart already for Big, and all the pieces of the puzzle are falling into place for Team Liquid.
Honestly, feel like it's a lot easier for a team like Big to be getting more rounds off Team Liquid than, or for a team like Boot to get more rounds off Team Liquid than it is for Big, because, you know, you talk about first game of the tournament, you talk about, you know, a team that Team Liquid potentially might respect a little bit more than your Southeast Asian teams. They're going to come into this one a little bit more seriously in a best of three and try to make sure they guarantee that spot in the quarterfinals as quickly as possible. Do just see the anti-eco coming out here for Liquid as they slowly take this control, but a nice nade stack from Big.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Team Liquid are having the easiest of times of trading it back either, as Twist just continues to pop his head up and down, but not really connecting any of these shots. Eventually gets a good spray down onto Tabson, so that'll bring it back to a 4v4. The benefit, at least for Team Liquid, is that that gun isn't really retrievable right now by Big, so they're going to have to get it done with the pistols, and that is not going to happen anymore. Now that the utility really has run out for Big, Team Liquid is just going to storm their way into the A-bomb side, and that'll be round over.
Looking like it. Well, you could never really count out the Deagles to do just a little bit of damage in towards the later parts of the round. Not going to be the case, though. Again, 4 guns up for Liquid. They're really building up this money very, very strongly. And now's the first opportunity for Big to actually get some AWPs on the board and play their normal sort of a game style on Dust2 CT. Key to see where they put these AWPs or AWPs rather, whether they go for the singular or the double, which is just the singular as well as the 4 AUGs. And Tabson's actually heading over to that middle side of the map, so keen to see if he's going to go for Pixon towards Catwalk or whether he's going to contact in towards B. Look at the pace down mid from Liquid though.
Yeah, they do just manage to evade the AWP, and Twist just pushing straight through double doors. Tabs and Legia going down straight away. I mean, the story doesn't get any easier for Big off the back of getting another gun round here. They have been caught in all sorts, now finding the kill out from Upper Dark. All across the map, Liquid just being able to play so aggressively, so quickly, and catching Big off guard. And
that's just a fact of life when, you know, Liquid in the last anti-eco, they completely slowed down the pace. They really went for that catwalk control nice and slowly and slowly closed out the round. In the previous gun round, they let Big have that long control and just sort of crept up catwalk and went for the map control. And then in this round, they completely changed up the pace. And you can see Big, they're thinking about what they want to do now that they've got the money on the board. They've got the full buy, and they're going to start to, you know, get caught off guard by the pace coming out from Team Liquid.
Just a save here for Big, and the moment Naf just trying to wrap around the back, maybe through bedroom he can pick up the frag onto God B, though obviously God B fairly well aware of what's going on here. It's a 5-0 start though for Team Liquid, and I mean regardless of whether these guns go through or not for Big, it's just not the kind of scenario that you need to start the game off, especially the way that Liquid is playing now as well. Like Twist literally just rushing through mid doors, finding 2 picks like that. It doesn't give you a lot of faith here that Big is actually going to be able to challenge.
And this is a big problem that I was looking at, you know, in terms of the map pool before we even went into this matchup. I was thinking to myself, like, what are Big going to pick here? Like, I reckon that they're not going to have the opportunity to get cash, and they didn't, so they have to go towards Dust2, something that they've picked, and they've had mixed results against, you know, not even teams that are even close to the level of a team like Team Liquid. So when you're going into a match like this and picking Dust2 against Team Liquid when they're, you know, a world-class team on it, it's going to be a rough time for you, unfortunately. Which is what we see in many of Liquid's vetoes. They have such a deep map pool that, you know, regardless of where you go, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, definitely. Especially the context of this series, historically, between the two teams having always generally favoured Team Liquid, you kind of were put in a corner here as Big. But look, this is the way that they have to deal with things here in IEM Sydney. It's obviously not the end of the world if you lose in this particular matchup. It is not an elimination game, although it is a progression game. But Big can go down into the lower bracket and certainly make a run through there, depending on who they end up facing. This will be another nice grenade onto Twists. Now, utility usage from Big has not been too bad when it's come to the grenades thus far, but it's obviously not enough against Team Liquid, who, like, you can just look at the firepower, the individual skill on this Team Liquid roster is certainly coming up really with the goods against Big.
100%. But it's not only that, it's just the way they're approaching these rounds where they know that Big's at a disadvantage. They're going to make full use of that catwalk control and head in towards this A bomb site. Good utility usage, smoke to progress, smoke onto CT spawn. They're going to throw mollies onto the bomb site and really cut down the angles they have to deal with.
Next being put under pressure here as well. He does stand up tall and gets one. Got B, unfortunately, somehow gets rid of Legia. And I don't know how that's happened at all, but that is not what Big wants at this point. This will be 6-0 for Team Liquid. It's just the shots that Team Liquid are hitting right now are so sharp. And Big can't even pop their head up for 1 second before it's ripped off. Stewie not going to miss that one either. 6-0 now for Team Liquid. And that hype train certainly is going to start getting rolling if Liquid is able to cleanly wipe through Big. They've cleanly wiped through Boot already. We look to them even taking the Group A final and putting themselves in the semis at Qudos Bank Arena. I mean, this is their tournament, right? This is the one where, look, Australis is not here, Navi's not here. It's Liquid's for the taking.
Yep.
And we're seeing good stuff from them so far.
Well, this is the first step of many to sort of secure that tournament win that they're looking for. Be able to guarantee themselves a spot in the arena here against Big. This round in particular, Liquid just go fast, long control. Again, throwing Big off as soon as they try to get guns on the board. Just going for a different strategy, and that's what an opening from NAF. Big's already at a disadvantage. I mean, in the first gun round, or the last gun round that we saw, where they actually finally did get the AWP, the mid control just completely throws them off guard. The pace that Team Liquid sets. This round in particular, they're already down a man and could have potentially been punished for that push, but that's actually a little win for Big there.
Well, I mean, I think at this point, Big needs to start making moves like that. They need to start winning those kinds of aim duels as well, because it's quite evident that when the executes and the actual entries into the site are occurring, that's where Team Liquid is able to have their advantages. So if Big can push the extremities, maybe find some advantages that way, then there is a world in which they come back into this half. But so far, looking very difficult. Tabson with an important frag, though, does put the numbers in the favor of Big for the first time in a long time. But Naf, he's so clean. Next just falls straight away on short. And then we're straight away back to a 3v3 with Team Liquid now having good control toward the A-bomb site. They just need to get in there. And maybe they don't even need to get in. Naf can just kill everyone anyway.
Like it. They're going to get mollied off the site, but Twist does have a molly to be able to exchange with Tizzy in there to make sure he doesn't re-peek short. Little does he know that Tizzy's on an adventure over towards long A. He's going to try and change up the angles and catch one of these T's off guard to cut it down to a 1v1. But look at this from Liquid. Just a double crab walk over towards Gandalf and short. Staying nice and assertive in this round, making sure they don't get caught off guard by whatever Tizian can do.
Yeah, Naf on for the ace as well. So if he spots Tizian first, you can bet your bottom dollar that this is going to be 5 kills in the round for Naf. Although at the moment it does look like Twist actually has a better angle. Maybe Tizian doesn't even go for this retake. He looks like he wants to save that gun, which I think is a little disappointing. Obviously would have liked to have seen that ace come out for Naf. End of the day though, you know, saving M4 through, sure it's good, but it's a bitter pill to swallow in the fact that it's going to be 7-0 here for Liquid. It just seems like this freight train has absolutely no brakes.
That's exactly right. Every single time Big's thinking about what happened in the last gun round. Now that we've finally got guns and utility on the board, we've finally got the AWP. How can we manage to formulate a way to get around on the board? And just then, every single time, Team Liquid changes up the pace. So much depth to their play, considering it's the map pick of their opponent.
I just want to point out, if Naf has a good game, I'm going to be very happy because I got him on my fantasy team.
If you got a good game?
If Naf got a good game.
Naf got a good game.
I'm expecting that he will. Everyone's been getting a lot of points off Twists. I haven't been able to put him in mine. I didn't have enough money. But Naf, he's my boy. So we keep an eye on him throughout this game.
It's a bit of that Renegades fanboyism coming through.
Yeah, look.
Too bad Twist didn't play a Renegades. You would have picked him straight away.
Probably. Too bad Nifty didn't make it here with Envy, unfortunately. They didn't qualify. Oh well. Maybe next year. But for Team Liquid, I don't think it's about next year. I don't think it's about, you know, looking to the next tournament or anything like that. This is really one which they actually, I think, need to put in the books, right? Because, sure, we can talk about Team Liquid being one of the best teams, perhaps even the second best team in the world. But they're not getting the results that they want, I think, is fair to say. Sure, you're getting second places. That's great. But if you're not first, you're last.
Well, it's going to be the anti-eco approach again from Team Liquid. Big group up in towards tunnels, and they do have Elise just playing anti on catwalk, and it's working beautifully again, punishing all the pushes from Big. It's just so clean, Jordan. It's a massacre.
A massacre indeed. To be fair, I didn't really expect that Big was going to be able to get a whole lot done with these pistols. If they're not doing it with the rifles, if they're not even really making the rounds close, when they've got the guns, You can't expect too much out from them here in a round like this. And Liquid, again, as I said already, they've been very, very solid on their anti-ecos.
This is a far cry from what we usually watch. I mean, I've just come off the back of watching the Asia Pro League. The amount of anti-ecos that go awry in that region in particular.
Yeah.
This is great stuff to see. So again, Team Liquid with 4 alive. Look at their money. They're going to have absolutely no problems buying into the rest of this half. And at this point, Big down 8-0. They just need to try to pick up as many rounds as they can to just grind this game back, because they're absolutely in the bin at the moment. They need to be able to try and purchase that double orb setup or try something different, because every single time, Liquid's just adjusting their T-side strategy, gun round to gun round, you know, regardless of what happens. Even their anti-ecos, they're just changing up their approach of where they're putting emphasis on the map and what sort of parts of the map they're holding. And it's impossible for Big to read. So I really think that they need to try and stay assertive on this CT side. Maybe try to put whoever's got the AWP in their hands up on a, you know, angle like short or something, and try to get a definitive advantage that they can you know, use heading into the rest of the round. Because at the moment, nothing's working for them. Liquid's just doing it whatever they want to them.
Yeah, well, I think a big problem for Big, obviously, as well, is the fact that they are lacking Xantaras. And if you remember, we were watching the IEM EU qualifiers when Big beat G2, and it was like the Xantaras show on Dust2.
It was the Xantaras show, 100%, with sidekick Tabson.
Yeah, and obviously they don't have one of their key fraggers, their key firepower. It's going to make life even more difficult. That's a nice pop flash through onto Long, but it's still is going to net at least an even trade for Team Liquid. But given the fact that they're on the T side, you have to say it's probably favorable. And Nitro's going to even double down on that. Getting another frag. It's 3v2 now. And Liquid again starting to put that pressure on the A bomb site. They really haven't worried too much about B at all. It's just been quite straightforward for them to push through Long, make it their way up onto A. They're going to do that once again. Stewie drops Tizian as soon as he walks around the corner.
And that was Big's attempt to try to adapt to Team Liquid's long control that they've been throwing a couple times this half, and you can see it just didn't work at all. They were able to get some trades back and forth, but overall, Team Liquid's just got that extra person anti-flash. They got that extra person set up to be able to deal with whatever Big throws at them. So that's the luxury of a team that's 8-0 up, you know, but provided that they're, you know, one of those thinking teams like Team Liquid are, that when you're ahead, you can stay one step ahead because you know that your opponent has to throw something crazy in the mix or change something up to be able to try to come back into the game, which means you can account for that. Leave that extra player anti-flash. You can, you know, make sure you're getting all those trades. You're not getting caught off guard by any craziness from Big. And they're only going to get more and more desperate the more and more rounds that they lose.
Well, at the very least, Legia will try and save the AWP. I think he gets away with it here. Elige probably doesn't manage to get there in time, and looks like that is going to be the case. So that's, I guess, a small window of hope again opened up for Big. Their money's not so great, but they can just grab some pistols behind this AWP, give themselves a chance.
And whoever's had that AWP this entire CT half, whether it's Tabson for the most part or Legia, they've never been able to get the opening pick. They've never been able to, you know, make that massive impact very early on in the round to be able to give Big a big advantage. And unfortunately, you know, with how Team Liquid's playing, with how, you know, structured and solid they're playing, they really need that advantage and they haven't been able to find it.
This long control has just been absolutely phenomenal for Liquid. Whenever you see like a player on Liquid and maybe having a rough time, they get flashed or they're in an aim duel that doesn't look favorable, there's another Liquid player there that's just dropping their opponent. And all of a sudden, you lose one or two frags and these peaks, they're just favoring Liquid everywhere. I mean, that's an AWP versus an AWP. Down long. Liquid is just so sharp right now. They're hitting everything.
It's looking like even more clinical cleanup. Potentially even 5 alive for Team Liquid heading into the next round.
As has generally been the case.
Pretty much. Sometimes they lose a player.
Yeah.
Let's not count that out.
Well,
not this time though.
Much of a muchness, really. It's 14k up for 3 players there on Liquid. I guess that goes to show just the dominance that they're having here in this first half. If the 10-0 scoreline didn't, I guess, like, where do you go here as Big? You know, you've tried controlling long, you've tried pushing upper tunnels, you've tried having a bit of presence in mid. Every single sort of defensive option, it feels like Big have tried. Team Liquid have had absolutely no problems sweeping aside.
Potentially, I think I'd like to try to see them put more emphasis on middle and catwalk, maybe, and just give up that long control and try to retake the A bomb site when Liquid do go for that execute over towards A, or just the cross smokes or whatever. That's something that could potentially throw Liquid off a little bit. But again, Liquid's just changing things up after that long control worked so flawlessly. Now they're making their way towards catwalk. They're going to slowly take control of that. Do see Big heavily leading away from that B bomb site, because let's face it, Liquid's barely even touched it. They've barely even been smashing those mid to Bs, which in a lot of the games that we've been watching lately, many teams do really rely on that to get T rounds on the board. Granted, it is lower level teams. Whereas Liquid, it feels like they haven't even had to go for that option. They've never even had to touch that part of the map. It's always just been long control into the A bomb site, and they trade out efficiently. They use their utility perfectly, or they just take catwalk and they go for the execute.
Well, I mean, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Team Liquid, it certainly isn't broke at the moment. They're kind of doing everything that they need to.
And it feels like Big, they really lack the presence of a dominant AWPer to be able to shut down that catwalk control, to be able to get those picks in the early part of the round towards long and make that job that much harder for Team Liquid to take this A bomb site.
Well, once again, it's going to be that long control out here for Team Liquid. This time, Tabson opens up for Big, so maybe there's a chance. Gob B on the crossfire will get another one. And finally, we're starting to see some signs of life out here from Big. Team Liquid, they surely won't be able to salvage this one. Stewie with the AWP, can't do a whole lot there on his own. And that's round number 1 on the board for Big. It was a long time coming. But hey, maybe this is the start of something.
Could be the case. Was a little bit of a cleaner round for Big, which is what you want to see, you know, when they're this many rounds down. They actually almost get more money for losing the round than they do for winning the round, which is, you know, how the new money system functions, unfortunately. So whenever they're losing the rounds in close circumstances, a lot of their players have to rebuy down to, you know, UMPs and pretty crap weaponry.
Nitro once again looking to pressure in middle. See, it already has made a bit of a change up here for Liquid. They're putting more presence in toward mid than they otherwise would have after losing that last round. Although with the position of the two players on long, it does seem as though Liquid may well default back to A again.
Yeah, they have got control of this long, and it feels like Liquid's ready for Big to go for some kind of a retake in this part of the map. Now Liquid just starting to expend some utility to be able to take that catwalk control, but they do have Tabson to be able to contest in that part of the map. It is the double orb setup from Big. The problem is that as we're heading pretty quickly from the mid-round into the later portions of the round, Big hasn't found a pick with either of these orbs.
Oh, Naf going to get caught. Just off guard a little bit there, but Twist is able to trade. I think slow down once again for Liquid. Well, they expended quite a bit of utility just then.
Yeah, I think they're just going to do the cross smokes with the lurk coming out from Stewie in the mid-round. Either to backstab these air players or just control the rotations through mid, make sure none of that's coming out.
Nitro going to watch and wait in case anyone jumps up on top of the box. Next being very careful right now, but he does fall to Nitro inevitably, and it felt like it was really an inevitability for Big. Unfortunately, again, this round really falling by the wayside. I mean, even if that long push didn't work, you can see there's a player that is controlling short. That's Stewie right now. So it was the 2 pincer strike for Liquid. Well, the first pincer worked, so you don't even need the second.
That's right. Even if those entries weren't as clean, even if Nitro doesn't pick that player on the site and they go for one again like they did at Car, they always have that backup option. They have Stewie who has the catwalk control, which means that the rotations are so one-dimensional for Big. They have to come out from that CT spawn area, and it just cuts down the angles that Liquid really have to worry about. And when you head into the post plant and later on, it's a lot easier to just put the bomb down in more favorable positions. Plant open for long rather than, you know, safe. Regardless, it's going to be another sort of gun round for Big. Obviously, next has to go down to 5-7, which is a bit of a sad state of affairs. Again, Liquid, they've given up that long control, which indicates they're probably going to go towards catwalk in the mid-round. Haven't really put too much pressure on middle, honestly, because they haven't really had to change up how their T-slide functions, because it's just been so successful. The only times they put pressure on middle is in the very, very early parts of the round, and now mid to B smoke coming out from a Liege. Oh my god.
I mean, how do you even win that aim duel at that point?
You could have put money on Leggy just winning that one easily and coming away with it, but Liege, unbelievable. That's 5-on-4 for Liquid. And in this sort of scenario, I mean, it's getting pretty rough for Big. They're getting pretty desperate for rounds at this point. And now out comes the mid to B, and you would probably, as Big, just be like, pretty much expecting the A play to be coming out at this point. You'd almost think that these grenades coming out from Stewie probably indicates more of a lurk than anything else, but with that mid to B smoke, Tabson will commit to the rotation. He does have the Molotov to be able to buy time or cut off that tunnel angle of the push. Doesn't drop any time though.
Yeah, we've rarely seen a B play from Team Liquid. Let's see whether or not it will work out. Twist gets the opener, but Tizian's doing good work on B. Unfortunately, he really needed to not just do good work, he needed to do fantastic work, and it's just not enough. Next, he's on his own. I mean, what are you going to do at this point?
Well, he's going to try and save his 5-7, which I'm not sure how much is going to help him.
No.
Good to see Nex having another good game on Dust2 though, but it's not really converting into many rounds on the board, unfortunately. At least he will get the HLTV points, and we all know that's most important.
Yeah. Although I'd be fairly surprised if many people have big players in their fantasy team. Because I think the strategy there is you want to go for players that are going to make a deep run in the tournament. And we're not expecting that from Big, necessarily. Certainly from Team Liquid.
You probably look at Big as that team to sort of make it through as the fringe team from the group through the lower bracket or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
But particularly with no Xantaras, it's a bit rough.
Well, I guess, again, it depends on what Mouse Sports ends up looking like. I think they had a pretty slow start today, but they ended up making that a fairly close map.
That's true. They had a bit of a comeback into things.
But outside of Big and... Well, I guess it depends on how the other matchup goes, right? Whether Renegades or NIP is knocked into the lower bracket. To be honest, I think that side of the bracket is actually stronger. So I would predict it's going to be Liquid, NIP, and RNG out from Group A, regardless of who from NIP and RNG gets knocked down into the lower bracket.
Well, we did see NIP look a little bit shaky earlier on. Up against... Who are they playing? United, right? Yeah, United had a monster CT side. NIP just couldn't get it going on the tee.
Yeah.
Just not been the case for Liquid. The polar opposite. They're just absolutely dominating Big on this tee side. And you got to remember, this is Big's map pick, and it's like one of the only two that I've seen them pick with very, very mixed success against weaker opposition than Liquid, and we're seeing that now. This is a shaky map for them.
Yeah, even though it is one of their favoured map picks.
That's right.
Well, Liquid have certainly been nothing if not methodical. So once again, they just try to make sure all those angles are clear. Elige was on his own here on Catwalk and gets picked off. So it is a 4v5 for Big right now, but with only those two players on the B bomb site, they're going to have some sort of incredible performances, and they might well be doing that. Next gets a couple over the smoke in middle. And Tizian with the Deagle. He's actually locked down B. And that is a relatively extraordinary round, really, from Big. It was not one that was expected at all.
It's always those rounds towards the end of the half, like the tail end, that you never expect them to pick up, that they end up actually securing. Maybe it's a case of Liquid getting too lax, or Big, finally turning on and just getting something a little unexpected, catching their opponents off guard. But it is only their second, and that's not really good enough heading into the rest of the game here. Now Liquid storming up Catwalk. Look at them go. The blinding pace from these lads, and Next, as well as God B, will be the ones to deal with them.
So a lot of good utility usage there, though, from Big. It's quite evident that they've read what Liquid is trying to do. Next, set up on the line. He'll drop twists. Another grenade on through. Should do a bit of damage, and in fact, actually finishes off Elige. Now into the 3v5, and you can just see Liquid are burning alive. Naf has been absolutely gobsmacked, I think, because the rest of his team's totally disappeared. It's a 1v5.
Okay, and that's the third round on the board for Big, but I don't know if it'll be enough heading into the half.
No, definitely not. 12-3 at the end of the half. We'll see whether or not Big can come back from this one after a break.
living in the clouds, and I'll take it. Yeah, reminding myself to just let go. Don't wonder how far I can fall. Don't look down, never fade out. And I just wanna be someone and never fall behind again. Just keep on moving on, never look down.
Certainly hasn't been the ideal start to the day for Big on their map pick. Obviously going down 3-12 in that first half. For Liquid, I mean, you couldn't really ask for much more, could you?
The dream T side for them, really. They were just changing up things so much, changing up the pace, changing up what kind of the map they were emphasizing on, what kind of a late round they moved towards, you know, even going towards the mid to Bs later on in the half in particular. So over on the side of Big, they never really gotten a chance to adapt to anything, and if they weren't hitting their shots and they weren't getting an opportunity to really run the proper gun rounds they were looking for, then they couldn't do much except for steal a couple of rounds towards the end of the half. Now heading into the pistol, a must-win here for Big. Do see a lot of players emphasise over towards long, just the one set of utility over on towards Tizian. He's going to throw that over towards Xbox, it looks like.
Already a bit of aggressive control here from the CT side as they push their way toward Catwalk, and he's got quite a few big players out, which may be to the detriment of Team Liquid, as the trades do come in from Big. Very nice shots being hit with these Glocks, and that's the opener that Big needed in the second half to keep themselves alive. It is a 4v2 though, so they need to ensure that they don't end up dropping this round somehow. We have seen stranger things happen.
Stewie's going to get in front of them though. He's one step ahead of Big at the moment. Hasn't quite pushed into the B-bomb side, but he will hear all the T's.
And they don't have a smoke either, so he does have a bit of freedom here to take the peaks. But obviously with 4 players up against the 1, never going to be an easy battle. Nitro comes across on the rotate, but won't be able to do a whole lot. And as you say, it was a do-or-die pistol for Big. Well, they're doing it at the moment.
Great flashbang from Tizzy in the mid-round there, just to make sure that they could set up that first aim duel onto the short player. It's what allowed Big to really get a foothold over towards that middle part of the map and towards Catwalk, is they just got that clean entry, and then they were able to, as you often see the T's on the pistol, just absolutely roll with that momentum straight up the Catwalk and take the fights with the rest of the USPs. Flashbang sets Tizian up on the angle towards long, and Liquid do just give it up. They're going to move their players over towards Catwalk and the A site.
Has been a minor investment from Liquid with the scout again out on Stewie. We saw this against Boot, and we saw it work relatively well. If you remember, Liquid weren't being overly eager, overly aggressive. They just waited for their opponents, tried to tickle them with the scout and finish things off with the pistol, which seems to be the name of the game once again here. A near miss for Stewie. But Big don't seem particularly keen to peek him just yet. He's going to rotate back off.
Looks like Big's just going to go for the cross smokes and the flashes over the cart. Molotov pushes Naf off the bomb side as well. It's going to be an absolute brawl over here towards the A bomb site.
Yeah, that's a good opener as well for God B. Settles the nerves a little bit maybe in the fact that this round could be a little dangerous if things didn't start well for Big. Stewie though, he's getting a lot of opportunities with this scout, and already Legia has gone down back into the 4v4. What more can Stewie do? Unfortunately not a lot, as his bomb has been planted, and now he'll be crept upon by Tabson. It's a better looking round out from Big here already on the T side than what we saw on CT. Twisted Nitro just having a tea party in CT spawn. Not really much else to do at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them just hold on to those Deagles heading into the following round. And actually, who's that that's dropped down? Tabson drops down and goes for the fight on CT, and unfortunately loses his life as a result of it. And the smoke on towards that gun as the bomb ticks down further and further. Nitro's going to have an opportunity to get another kill and perhaps grab himself the gun.
Yeah, he is going to get himself an AK. That's nice. So perhaps a little bit too much given over to Liquid in this round.
100%. That could have been so clean for Big. That could have been 4 guns alive, but the minute that Tabson drops that AK into CT spawn and loses his life, things become a whole lot more messy, and you're talking about, you know, 6k plus additional investment sort of lost going into the future. And it's going to be hard for Big's economy to recover from that if they're not stringing these T-gun rounds together onto board cleanly.
It's another minor investment out from Liquid here. Just some pistols again. But I guess off the back of the AK, if Nitro can be enabled in this round, if he pushes forward, might have a chance. Although, unfortunately, by the looks of things, that's not really going to happen for Liquid at this point. B bomb site completely undefended, and Big have read it correctly, taking that gamble into B, and that has worked out phenomenally.
So the name of the game here for Liquid now is just to get those exits. Have some very shaky stuff from him. That's not something we're used to seeing from the man.
No.
Does lose this gun as well, so that's another AK for Liquid to be able to pick up. And Big, they're just going to let it go. They're going to make their way back towards this CT area where it is Twist waiting for them with the Deagle. Could be potential difficulties to be faced heading towards that part of the map. Regardless of where they go, they're going to be facing opposition. They go towards the tunnels. There's a lot of CTs in this area.
Nitro as well with that AK. He's punishing them. How does he get two there? Already Big being put to the sword by Team Liquid in the second half. They're almost going to lose every single player. Legia does, well, I was going to say just survive, but he takes the repeat, and Stewie will punish him for that. So Big have lost all of their guns. And sure, they've denied one of those extra AKs over to Liquid when they did have two. Now they only have one. But that is a very hefty investment.
Their economy's cooked, and they've got no loss bonus to back it up either. So unless they're winning these T-gun rounds very, very cleanly moving forward into the next couple of rounds, their economy is going to struggle, and they have potential to be reset by Liquid here moving into this gun round. It's a double AWP for Liquid coming out.
Well, Tizian going to play aggressively. The flashbangs do help him out. Means that Twist can't really get a great angle. He can't calibrate, but Felice through the smoke does manage to get Tizian. Needs to be backed up here by Naf, who unfortunately misses a couple of shots with the AWP. And that's kind of all gone wrong for Liquid. It just seemed like the aim wasn't quite on point there. But Nitro certainly making something of it as he does shut down Legia. And there is still a chance here for Liquid. Hole in that smoke that's not been covered up just yet, though Godby will ensure that it is clean wall of smokes. Nitro waiting for the flashes as they do throw them through the smoke, but looks like he's okay. What a crazy hectic start to the round.
Yeah, Big making sure they don't get caught off guard by any pushes through that smoke from Liquid. They're going to finally plant for Plat, and Stewie's made his way over towards this catwalk area. Nice little nade chipping away at these Ts. But it looks like they are going to go for the save. Economy's still very fragile for Team Liquid, and that's a big opportunity taken advantage of for Big in that round in particular. If some of those aim duels have gone the way of Liquid, if they're able to hit their shots a little bit more cleanly, you could be looking at a situation where Big are absolutely broke heading into the next round, and Liquid could be on 13, but they dodged that obstacle. They are going to go up to 7-12 on the side of Big, and they are going to make sure they hang on to a few of their guns, as many of them as possible. And in doing so, they're going to start to cement their economy a little bit more. Interested to see if Liquid are going to buy up into this round, because Stewie could potentially drop two guns. You know, Leech could buy with very limited utility. Same thing's working for Big, though, as for Liquid. That long control worked fantastically in that last round. Flashes were very, very effective. None of these Liquid players could really be able to take duels, and they are going to fight in that part of the map as again, but looks like this time around Liquid have secured that long control.
Yeah, Neff taking a very, very bold peek there. No one from Big particularly interested in having a look through the bedroom doors.
And now the emphasis shifts over to Catwalk. Do see Liquid rotating to that part of the map very, very quickly.
Just a FAMAS there for Elige and for Twists. It's not exactly the ideal weaponry on this part of the map, but it's going to go to good use. Elige is going to get a 1-for-1 and a fair bit of damage as well onto Godby, who was able to trade him out. I think he's definitely done his job there.
Nice mid-round pick. He pushes into tunnels, Nitro does, and manages to grab Team Liquid the man advantage, as well as the knowledge that it's pretty unlikely anyone's towards that part of the map. Big, they only have the cat control really going for them, and unfortunately Tizian not winning that duel is going to put a lot of pressure on these catwalk players to sort of pick up the pace.
Yeah, they're not really being able to get many inroads into the bomb site. Flashbangs do come through, which enables the peek from Twists. Again, not really able to finish things off here, but he's got the information for his team, and now just needs to bide his time. got B very low, will be finished off by Stewie, and now it's just up to Tabson to try and crouch behind the A-bomb side and keep this one alive for Big. But you have to think this is too much of a difficult clutch with both Stewie and Nitro full HP, and Nitro wrapping around the back. As soon as he pops his head up here, he's going to be finished off, and there we go. 13 will come up for Team Liquid. Keeps first round of the half.
He keeps it expensive for Liquid, though. So they do have to drop those guns over. They're probably going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of the money once again. Let's see what the approach is going to be for Big here. Are they going to try to break Liquid's money heading into the next round? With those two players alive, that could be a big opportunity for them to come back into the half, despite the fact that they are down about 5 rounds, and Liquid's really threatening the end of the game here.
Yeah, but I mean, thus far, it's been a pretty good T side from Big.
Would have to agree with you, which is what you'd expect from Big on their map pick. If their T side's not functioning well, with, you know, GodB as the in-game leader on your map pick, then things are going pretty bad. Very, very fast mid pressure, as well as trying to go for that catwalk control on the side of Big, but Liquid are here and ready to fight this.
Once again. This time a bit of a different setup from Liquid, and Big are going to wrap their way toward B. Now that is an interesting development because it is just Stewie right now on B.
Still hasn't dropped his smoke even, so he could hold this one off a little bit more.
That should be a bit of a tell as well. Smoke does come through. Stewie well aware of exactly what that means. He's going to spam through it. Tizian will go down. Now the peek over the smoke, but doesn't seem like it's going to get the better of Stewie. He'll drop his own onto the bomb side and just waste the time here of Big. It's a 3v5, and Naf now starting to get the ball rolling with the AWP. Had some questions about that on long before, but the shots that he's hitting now, looking very good indeed. He's getting backed up by Twists. While Naf does fall, it's still a pretty clean round in the end there for Team Liquid. 3 guns alive. And 14's up, very close to finishing the map off now.
Yeah, Big get cleaned up, and along with all of the T players, their economy goes straight down as well. So they're going to have to decide what they want to do. Do they give Liquid match point and try to go for the AKs in the next round, or do they go for a pistol armor buy and try to get straight back into the game? It's like they will just save and give Liquid the 15th round, unless they can pull off something crazy, which is pretty unlikely. Liquid's been very good at running these anti-ecos, at least on the T side. Big just making their way towards Catwalk here.
Well, for all the good it's going to do them, I'm not so sold on this one just yet. Alicia is locking things down on A. While Naf does fall, missing that AWP shot. It's really much of a muchness here for Liquid. That AWP will be retrievable if need be. Twist looks like he's going to go and grab that. So the double AWP does continue on through. And now we're on to map point. Team Liquid 15-7 at the moment. It's been a pretty good day at the office, I think, for Liquid.
100%. They're looking so clean on that T side in particular. And although Big, you know, running some of their go-to strats on the T side, very good at taking that long control. Feels like Liquid have pretty quickly adapted to that, and now they're starting to shut Big down a little bit more. The individual players definitely, as we expected, performing much better across the board for Team Liquid, and that's the real difficult point for Big. Now Big, very fast catwalk control from them. Interested to see what they're going to do with it. Looks like GodB's interested in dropping in towards that CT spawn area, and then maybe going for that mid to B on the side of Big.
Liquid might well be ready for it, and indeed Elige is. He was just watching that angle for so long, and the flash seems to have had no impact at all. Stewie's ready for the players in middle, knocks down 2. Tamsin and Tizian have disappeared, and maybe the hopes of Dust2 have also done the same for Big. It's just 1 player left alive now. Next, against 4 of Team Liquid, and this will be the map wrapped up in a matter of time. We're giving a lot of respect over to Next, I think is fair to say. No really silly peaks or anything like that, but there we go. Twist will finish it off. Map 1 in the books for Team Liquid, and as I said, it's been a good day so far for them. 2-0 as far as all of the results at IEM Sydney are concerned here, and only 1 more map, Pili, before they secure their place at the Qudos Bank Arena.
Heading over to Overpass, another shaky map for Big, and that's the map that Team Liquid have all elected to pick, so I'd imagine we're looking for at a 2-0 here.
Alrighty guys, time for us to head to a quick break. After this though, the analyst desk will be back with some insights from Dust2.